So lately on my 12 Impala, I've been having a couple different issues. First of which is like I'm backing out of a spot or going real slow speeds in drive and I'm cranking the wheel one way or the other. The traction control just kicks on. And the other one is intermittently I get this warning. Flash a service Stabilitrak, service brake assist, and service traction control. So I had got on my BlueDriver. I'm actually recording on the phone that I have my BlueDriver app on. And I'm pulling a code C0035. And that is the left front wheel sensor. So we're going to diagnose that. So I have pulled off the wheel and cranked the steering wheel all the way to the right. Oh yeah, and by the way, today we're listening to Turbo. Okay. What we're gonna do here is access this little connector here. The little white wire comes out of your wheel bearing. And then, oh man, I can't really see it. Let's get the camera on it. See if I can go back here. Man, that tie rod end is in the way. There, lift this tab and pop this connector off. Okay, so now on this, I think what I'm gonna do is pinch this and remove this connector from the little bracket here. I'm gonna get any nose pliers to do that. That's a little better view of that right there. I'm just gonna pinch those so I can get this out. Oh, okay. So now, see there's two pins inside there. I'm gonna get out my voltmeter. We're going to set it to ohms. And if we can get that in the shot. Let's back this out a little bit. We're going to probe those two terminals. So our reading needs to be between 850 and 1350. Since that's sitting precariously right there, I'm going to try to probe these terminals. I don't know if I can fit both these in there. Okay, my K scale is lit up, so we're 1.049 K, so that would be 1049 ohms. So I think our wheel bearing's good. That leads me to the conclusion that this stupid wire down here is broken. Again, I've had this issue a couple times now. And it's probably broken right here. So I've in the past taken this off and like right about here I can feel my splice. This is where I spliced it. It doesn't go very far up towards the cowl or core support. And the issue I was having last year was I was getting water down in this tube, so I just, heat shrunk the shit out of it. I took last year, the ends of this were all corroded, so I went and gooped up a bunch of RTV on the backs of this connector. Let me see if I can see it on here. And you can still see it holding up right there, so I don't think that's the issue. And these replacements always have an extra length. And you know, it appears that there's some good length in here. I'm just thinking maybe the wires in here in this little bend here broke. I might have made it too stiff when I put all this shrink tubing on here. So I went back and looked at my past orders, and I ordered a set of 2. Since I'm not getting the code for the passenger side, I'm gonna leave that side alone. And this is what the new pigtail looks like. Get your 2 ends. You know, which I'll shorten, and it has some electrical tape on there. But again, this one, I think I'm gonna carefully pick this off and then shoot some, yeah, see how that's exposed? Just get some RTV down in the, where those wires pass into the connector, and kind of goop up that, keep the water out. So you're gonna want to remove this here splash shield. Mine has the, yeah, get in the middle with the Phillips screwdriver, and they're not cooperating. That center part's supposed to come out. This one will, I can tell already. Yep. Oh, see, that one won't. Huh. They're worn out, I guess. So my little plastic thing ain't gonna cut the mustard. So there's one here, and one way up there, and I'm gonna leave that one connected because you gotta undo this inner fender panel to get to it. Just seems unnecessary. Yeah, these are very strange that those won't come out. Usually have had no problems getting those out. Well, your mileage may vary. Well, so I reached my finger up back there and pressed in on the center, and these little Phillips parts popped out. And they're gonna fall on the floor, which I'll pick up. See, now this, we can get this out of the way. Maybe tape it over here, but you can see where this runs here. I think I have it spliced right here. Yep, I can feel right there. I'm gonna peel all this back. Then you have these little, I'll show you on the new one. These suckers that push down on the control arm. I think there's 4. Let me count the new harness. Oh, 1, 2. Oh, back down here there's 2. Oh yeah, you can also see I turned the wheel all the way to the left now. 2 here. I think there's, no, that's it. Okay, there's 1 extra on this harness. Yep, and I believe you can position these. Yes, they pop open. Right there, they pop open. You can either remove them or reposition them. Alright, 2 different implements. My little plastic clip remover is gonna break if I try using it that way. If I could pry that up enough, I can get my needle nose under there and grab that thing and yank up on it. Yep, there's one. See how she's all deformed? There we go. Now there's 2 way under the, still can't get this. Tripod doesn't go low enough. Oh, there we go. Clear view of them right there. They're right next to each other. This one was unlocked too. Wasn't even connected. So I'll have to yank that out. But now... Shit, where'd it go? Now we are loose. Here we go. We are loose. So I can go forth with exercising it from the car. So I went ahead and I had a big piece of shrink tubing here that I split and took off. Now, if you still have your stock harness, you should hang it down to about here, cut it here, and then peel back your plastic sheathing conduit to up to about here. Cut the sheathing here, let the wires hang down. I'll show you in a second after I cut this off. So you can see this is like where I originally spliced on the new harness. That's shit the bed again. So I got heat shrink on those butt splices. And then I wrapped the shit out of it with electrical tape and went over it again with heat shrink. So my water wasn't getting in here. I will cut this off the car and dissect my harness here in a second. And you know, cut them one at a time, not together. So, I had an issue, like I said, with my first replacement harness. After about a year, water got down in here and corroded the terminals. So, I went out and I bought a, like on short notice, AutoZone had just a little tiny, you know, you can tell to about here, harness, or I'm sorry, pigtail connector. So what I did is I just went and spliced it in here, and I think this is where this must be where my issue is, because this is like right where that control arm bends and it's just not flexible. But I had the foresight on this one to goop it up with some RTV on both sides to prevent the water from going in there, and these terminals still look good. I'm willing to bet it's broken in here where this pivots, which tends to be the case usually anyway. And ironically, on the original harness, the wire inside there was just fine. It was the damn corrosion on the connector. Okay, so I dissected this. It's like everything is intact. I mean, everything stayed together. This is that little harness, little pigtail I spliced in. The wires still look good. I mean, I suppose I could ohm it out, but I was looking at the length of this and how much more this hangs down. I can't get it on the damn camera now. Okay, we're gonna go along here. Here's where this ends. We got another, Christ, like 18, almost 2 feet more of wire. So I'm going to show you on the car where this goes. And here's this fifth piece that I didn't use before. I'm going to go back. I found under the hood where it comes up. I'm going to try zooming in on this connector here. Right here. So we're going to pull that out. I guess I'm not going to care if it breaks because there is a new one on the new harness. Looks like there's just a hole in the side of the transmission for this to go into. Unless I reach around the back. Now my finger won't reach back there. No. I think we're going to have to yank. What I might do is just cut it right there. I think I'll just cut this. gonna try not to damage the loom, just to get it loose. Okay, we're free of that. Now I'm gonna pull this around up into the engine compartment. I'll figure out a way to get this thing out of here so I can shove the new one in there. Okay, around the top, way down here, you see this connector? I can't really get my phone down in there. I'm gonna try to. Keep my light clamped on there. Okay, there's that oxygen sensor wiring. Yeah, I still can't. Pardon. I'm gonna have to. I'm gonna try zooming in on it from here. Oh, kind of am. See, okay, that oxygen sensor wire goes over to that connector there. Wish I could set this down here. You can see right here. Oh, that's the connector I'm looking at. All right, let's zoom in on that one. Wrong connector. This one's down here, right? Come on, focus on it. Trying to get the camera to focus on it. There. Okay, this wire here, this is your, there. So see how this sucker comes, this thing's attached right here. So I mean, we could conceivably cut it right here. We got all that extra length. I think what I'm gonna do is hold up that old harness to this, measure out the length, and go, let's zoom back out. Get a better view of this now that I pulled it up through the engine compartment. I might just go somewhere in here so we don't have to upset this clip here. So what I ended up doing is I laid these harnesses out end to end, and I took a silver Sharpie and marked on the conduit here where I had that one cut. So then I went over back under the hood. Yeah, I got the car raised up, so this is way high. Well, what I ended up doing, so I traced that wire harness, and they give you enough cable here to go all the way back. This harness goes, I don't know if you can see this right here, this big wire loom. It goes around the back side of it, and that's where it pops out. And there's enough wire there to go all the way back there. But the damn transmission is in the way, and all them, this goes to the PCM. You got to undo all those connectors on the PCM. I mean, honestly, I don't want to do that. I think the easiest bet is just to cut it. I peeled back some of this electrical tape. I mean, I want to cut it somewhere here. I don't think the problem is going to lie so much in that part. Could be wrong. Well, I got a spare harness in case that does happen. I think I'm going to cut it here, and this is where I'm going to do my splicing. It'll be a lot easier to do it right here than all the way back there. So the wire loom had a split in it, and I peeled it back and cut it with the scissors there. And then inside there's another little protective sheathing on there. I ran my scissors down the side of it, got it out. I need to go a little bit farther down into there. But I'm going to take these wires off and transfer them over, and then I'll determine my length where I need to cut this, and I will. All right, here's a little bit of an update. I decided to yank the air box out, and this PCM tray, comes to find out, it just lifts right up. There's just two little grommets down here holding it in. Boom and boom. And there's your two, one, where is it? Right here. Those two suckers pop down in those grommets. So I can see this a little better now. This is where that wire comes up, right over. Now this thing, of course it's not going to lay the way I want it to. So what I'm going to do is try to disconnect it from this, and then I can pull it all the way back. And see, I'd already cut this here. I think I want to run it the whole way. So that's that little connector that was holding on that oxygen sensor wire. I put a little pick in the middle of it. It looked like a zip tie. Put the pick in there to release the little tab, and the back of it came out, so I should be able to reuse it. Now, here we go. Here it is. Comes in right here. I don't know, maybe I'll cut it here. I don't know that I can, still can't really get to this, where it goes into the harness. But I can't do this all while I'm holding the camera with one hand, so I unplugged this TCM connector and that oxygen sensor, and then I just unwrapped the harness tape off of there, and this conduit just pulled away. So going back this far was rewarding. So I am just going to use the complete entire harness. If I can get my wire cutters down here, my splicers, this is where I'm going to tie in. Alright, before we get too far ahead of ourselves, we're going to put some RTV on the end of that. I keep forgetting to turn the music off. I honestly can't work in silence. I need to rock out. So I'm just going to carefully pry this tab. Maybe we'll do it by hand here. Carefully, you don't want to break it. Get your glove caught in there. See, that one side comes undone. And we'll carefully do it to this side. Okay, that pops this open. You can see your wire loom starts to move a little bit. And you're going to want to release it from the sides like that. Boom. Just pull that back just ever so slightly. Oh, actually, I still do have the tape on the end there. I'm going to unravel that tape because I measured it out, and that factory wire loom is the exact length of this. So there's going to be a little bit of extra wire, and I'm just going to cut a little piece of the old just to cover the splice. But back to this, what you want to do is get that RTV in the back here. You got to pay careful attention to how this goes back on the same way. But what we want to do, I don't know, I'll get that out of the way for now. Facing down, blue on the left. Oh man, my cap broke. Okay. I know this stuff's still good. I can feel it. It's still pliable. It's just the you gotta hollow that out. Alright, I got that figured out now. Let's just get this stuff down in these. You don't want to get too far down there, but make sure it gets down in the openings there. You want this good and weatherproof. Then you can go ahead and snap this back on there while that RTV is still wet. I'm just gonna, let's see, click around like that. Push that. You know what? You might even want to put a little on the, put some on that conduit too. Wire loom, whatever you want to call this stuff here. Goop her up. And then we'll just snap this back together, snap both sides. There we go. All right. Should not affect our splicing of those wires back on. So on this, I want to undo the tape that came with it. Actually, you know, I really don't have to. Because yeah, you know what I'm going to do? Slide that over the splice. It'll be maybe an inch longer. Yeah, we'll leave that. Let's just cut these about here. Just note that these new wires, the gauge is a little bit thicker than the stock wires. Actually, looks like the wire gauge is about the same. The insulation jacket's a little thicker. Well, we're going to use the, these are heat shrink 18 to 22s. Oh, like I got to strip the wire back first, but you know. It's going to be really fun doing this on the car. Let's try the 18. Okay. The 18 gets this. Ooh, pulling the wire out. And I hope that didn't. Nope, it did not. That's the same length. Whew. I probably just pulled it out of the loom a little bit. Let's straighten it out. I don't know what happened there. Okay, be careful when you're stripping your wire back, because that moved. I'll try shoving it back in. I don't know. Well, I'm going to go ahead and crimp these. And this has the crimper. I always like my favorite, I think this is a Klein. No, it's a Channel Lock brand. Oh, wow, I've had these for like 20 years. Look for the little notch, and then this is going to go below. Get that on there. Give her a good crimp. And we will repeat for this one. Alright, these are ready to go on the car. Alright, seeing as I have the headlight removed, I got my tripod sitting where the headlight usually goes, so I can get a good view of this and work two-handed. Actually, easier to just take the wire cutters. It's not going to be fun stripping these wires back with this like this. Alright, we're cut. Let's strip these back. This is not going to be fun. Ooh, where's the 18? I'm going to make this one kind of long because I might fold it back. Oh wow, that wasn't, wow. That was not difficult at all. Okay. Can't really see which one I'm on there. Hey. All right. Trying to twist these. It's not twisting too well. Okay, what I think I'm going to do is, I think I'm going to start fishing this harness back. Well, maybe not. Maybe I'll just bunch it up down here. It's got to go want this RTV touching anything. Okay. Crimpers. Whew, this is going to be fun. All right. I'm going to go blue to blue, yellow to yellow. Alright, so you may notice one of these is a blue connector, one's red, pink, whatever. I messed up and because I couldn't really see what I was doing from where I was standing, I put the yellow wire into the blue wire. So I went fishing through my stash of heat shrink butt splices and could not find any more red ones. So I had to settle on a blue one for this. But I have the polarity correct now. And I am melting the heat shrink. This is such a weird spot too. We want these waterproof. And I think up here nothing's really gonna splash, but we're gonna wrap that factory harness tape back on it and then some more electrical tape. Oh, and that wire loom I'll put over the top of it and tape that real good too. I'll just measure out the length of this piece of loom that I'm going to use. Can go right to there. We'll cut her right there. So I got this fairly new roll of electrical tape. I don't know how well this is going to work. I'm trying to pull it really tight and make sure it's not sloppy. Not a lot of room to work with down here. Well, you get the idea. You don't really need to watch me do this. Just make sure that's all taped up real good. All right, I think I got that sufficiently wrapped up. Now we'll throw the rest of that loom on there. It has a split in it. Should be pretty easy to get on here. And I seem to be having a difficult time getting it on here. Okay. Now we'll wrap some tape around that. Oh, actually, the original harness tape is right here. It appears to be like it's in not too bad a shape. I don't think it has any stickiness left to it. Oh, look at that. You can go all the way over the new, oh, look at that. Let's put a little electrical tape right there to seal it off. Nice. We got the factory tape, whatever you want to call that, still present. Nice. We'll just cap her off with some electrical tape. Cool. Look at that. Now we'll send this back under. I don't know if this RTV is almost cured. Didn't take too long. Room temperature vulcanization. So I think we can shove this straight down there. I'll have to clip it back to that oxygen sensor wire. Move all this back. Oh, PCM's kind of sitting where it's supposed to. And this is all supposed to hang back that direction. Got to get my connector back on the transmission here. Oh, yep. Well, I did that wrong. Yeah, I had to use a screwdriver to get this. I don't remember how I did that. Okay, like that. There we go. push it on all the way there. And then you clip the lever back, and then you put this little pin back in there. Okay. Get that PCM back in by braille. Meaning by feel. Okay, that's... Oop, kick the camera again. That's back down. I think that has to go. Oh wow. That loom is missing off the... Oh, I think I'm going to undo this and wrap that up. That loom looks like it's deteriorating on there. So I went ahead and fished that wire down and just temporarily connected it up to the ABS sensor in the wheel hub. And I just want to check and make sure my connections are good. I don't have any warnings, so that's good. So we'll proceed with pinning it back together, or pinning it. I'm thinking of pushing those new, yeah, you know, all right. All right, I'm gonna hold this one-handed here and try to, so I reconnected the oxygen sensor and I got the ABS wire on. I didn't push that zip tie all the way back in. What I'm gonna do is work my way backwards. I turn the wheel all the way to the right now, and I'm gonna unplug this, and we're just gonna work our way down, back, and then when I get all these new deals plugged in, we'll figure out the amount of slack we need in the engine compartment. I'm gonna take this loose again because it's not routed the right direction. I just did this temporarily. Okay. We'll plug this back there. Now, I don't know if you can see it. There's two. I don't know if you can see it on the camera here. There's two of these need to go into the lower control arm. And thinking I need to turn the wheel again. Okay, I'm back over on the front side. There's one spot right here and one spot right there. So that's where I'm going to fish these wires under the CV. Okay. See if I can get these down in here. Up on the camera. Okay, those are in. All right. I need to turn that again and make sure that we're plugged in right. Okay, so here is our wire. All right, we're plugged up. We got really good slack on here too. All right, move the wheel back again. Here. Okay, here's one here. I think this one goes here. Is this the one that goes into the transmission? Yep. That thing was a pain getting out. I hope this new one fits in there. Oh, let's tip that camera back. Yeah, this new one does not plug in there at all. I gotta figure something out for that. That does not go in there. This one goes here. There, we got some room here. Yep, this one I'm gonna have to figure out how to get that to work. I could not salvage that old one. See, that goes up under the trans there. Okay. Let's go take a look under the hood. Alright, I can't really get this camera to stay. But there is quite a bit of slack coming under here. We can maybe give that a little more. Then again, I don't want it rubbing up on the radiator fan. Alright, I think I'll tie that down right there. I can't do it while I'm holding this tripod flat. But I think we look good from here. Alright, I figured out how much slack I need. And I'm leaving my air box out because tomorrow I'm replacing my coolant hoses. And under here, this one, I put some 3M double-sided tape around the little thing, stuffed it in there. She's in there good and snug. We're all run. Hooked up. Connected up. Good. Left the damn radio on again. Good thing my channel isn't monetized. Okay. There went the flashlight. Let's shut this light off. All appears to be good. So there you go. There was my adventure in replacing the driver side ABS sensor wiring. I think came to my senses deciding to run it all the way up into the engine compartment. I would suggest, if that's your issue, you do the same. And as always, thanks for visiting. If you liked the video, give me a thumbs up, subscribe, and we'll see you in the next video. Thanks for visiting Jack Wagon Garage. Peace out.